Good morning, all. And whoever attendees are, I would wish health for them and be safe. Uh, I would also like to start, and I will get catch what Manas was saying. We are quite privileged. Some of the when you see the COVID warriors on the road, and I personally, when I look at doctors, nurses, even we might be saying few things about the government, how they are managing it, but its life is really difficult over there. So with a somber note, I represent an industry which was first to shut down, and I was just counting. We have completed 100 days of shutdown, and probably we will be the last one to open. So even though we do consider ourselves now as the safest place, much safer than to your residents, and that's how we have been welcoming all our consumers wherever we are. Our malls are open, especially in Baroda, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. So on the macro part, this industry, retail industry, represents around more than 10% of India's GDP. I don't want to get into numbers, but just to give an analogy that the entire industry is like was there for a complete shutdown. I'm hearing a hello. Yeah, so from a business model perspective, our only source of inflows are rentals. We don't have any other inflows. We are not on e-commerce. We are not on OTT, and we don't have. We just started the home deliveries of food. Other than that, we don't have any source of income for last 3 months. I would say we were complete shutdown. So no sources of income. Whatever we had, we preserved. Each and every drop of it. We went to basics. I just recall the last week of March. There was one team who were completely on advocacies. We were representing to the governments. We were representing to IRDAs of the world. We were representing to RBI. We were representing to the local government, state government, ministries, and of course, the highest office in the country. And I must confess that there was a situation which was more desperate, and there was chaos, there was confusion, and we have been asking every sort of help from all all areas where we could get help to. So when we went to the government, we were asking about whether we can get a one-time restructuring of the loans. We are capital intensive industry. We have huge cost in terms of interest. We have huge equipment maintenance costs. We manage big assets. When you come to our assets, they're huge. The cost of maintaining air conditioning itself is huge. We have huge manpower costs. We have huge property taxes. So we went to the government and to all the associations where we could kind of ask waivers in terms of waivers in terms of fixed costs, in the property taxes, electricity duty. We asked for liquidity support from the government, whether we can get some immediate working capital, 15%, 20%, whatever we can get, at least to, make sure that the business is lubricated. There were huge costs in terms of workmen, and then we went to the government and asked job subsidies, with some amount of 50% of minimum wages could have been given to the workmen or to us, so that we can actually feed them. And then we went to the insurance company. There were huge premiums we paid for our nurses for loss of profits, unfortunately. So all the doors, frankly, if you ask me, after 2 months of day and night of more than 200 representations, I don't see there was enough at the light tunnel, end of light at the end of the tunnel. But the best part of the second team, we already started looking inside, and whatever we had, we said, let's share the pain, and the sharing of pain went to the vendors, to employees, ourselves, everybody, and then we said that this is the time where we should stand up and collaborate. The best part was we had good relationship with our vendors, and barring the MSMEs where we thought that they might need cash, we released some of the immediate payments. and then slowly and slowly we started putting some processes around cash, and these are all basics. I remember my fellow panelists, we have around more than 20 plus years of experience. I remember those days when we, during our articleship times in chartered, we used to look at our cash vouchers and cash flows, and that was the area where we went into, and all the senior professionals, including my team, we went and we looked at practically every line item of cash, whatever we are paying. So and we, whatever our co-panelists said, deferred capex, shut down the projects which we don't need, remove the marketing costs at present. Then we started looking at innovative ways of how can we reduce the cash over there, outflows. We read the contracts, and we came up with the idea of AMCs can be shifted. We shifted some of the annual maintenance contracts. We renegotiated most of the annual maintenance contracts. We renegotiated with all the consultants and the retainers. So practically all cost line items were challenged inside. It was kind of a commander role, I would say, where the entire finance team played during that time. And then the entire business team supported us a lot. Our procurement teams went out and we changed some of the vendors who didn't wanted to adjust with us. So harsher stands, but I would say I remember the title of Robert Schuller book, Tough Times Never Last, Tough Peoples Do. So we were really tough during that time, and we really then the third team was actually working on the financing bit. We were looking at getting some working capital loans. So we got few funds from banks due to our better relationship. We were also privileged to have lower net debts, because we have been there in the market for more than 7+ years. So our net debts were lower. So we were a little luckier than the other industry. So far, some of the team members came up with very innovative ideas, and I would just want to put one or two. Now, the insurance premiums, you normally pay upfront. You don't go and beyond the last due dates. One of the team members went into the insurance policy and said, "Boss, there is one clause where we can, give a bank guarantee to the bank and defer this payment by 60 days." And it's, those 60 days were looking so enchanting for me, even for a small amount. I don't say it's a small amount, because every rupee was counting at that point of time. So I'm sorry, I'm getting a little granular, because I want to recall every single day, which I spent in last 90 days. I can write a book on this after, we are through with this lockdown. So yeah, quite a few challenging stuff. To give you to my co-panelists and the attendees here, as a group, we never went for work from home. We have been debating internally for long. There have been challenges. I come from an MNC background of more than 11-12 years. I was in BP. I was in VF Corporation for more than 10 years. So I was used to work from home culture. And there has been an internal challenge with, teams here, which has never been a culture. I would say we went ahead and we tested work from home. And the best part was, as soon as we were testing work from home, the lockdown started. So I think we were ahead, at least on that curve. And I was personally surprised by the resilience of the group. Frankly, if you ask me, somebody who has not done work from home, an entire staff is working from home, and touch wood, I don't see a major work getting stalled or payment getting held or any business getting stalled during that time. So yeah, so that was from a social part of it. I think our first priority was to make sure that we keep our human resources intact. As our co-panelists said, families were the priority. We spoke to all the entire team members. So the entire team was met on one WhatsApp group. So there was one WhatsApp group which was formed. So we had weekly houses, we had fun. Normally what happens during this time, and I have personally also seen that if one day you don't get calls from any of your colleagues, you feel isolated, and sometimes you feel whether you are really needed in that organization. And those workplaces give you that confidence that you are respected as an individual or a professional in your organization. But working from home actually removes that disparity, and leadership comes in this place. And I'm proud to say that in our group, leaders stood up. They were resilient, though there was internal factions as well. We have never seen this kind of situation. So from that perspective, I would say there was a test of leadership, and we came strongly out of it. Now my biggest spend, which is again I catch from what Manas was saying, the restoration cost. So I'm now we are spending a lot on welcoming our consumers. And last 1 month we have made our places safe. So as you all go out and visit our malls wherever they are open, I would say they are much safer than the housing societies or the marketing areas where you go out, or the vegetable mandis, or even I would say your residence as well. So please venture out and see how safe we are. And that's the request we have been making to the governments also, so at least start the consumption cycle once again. So on that note, I would not take more time, and as we go along, maybe give your answers. Over to you, Kabir.